Let's face the facts. The majority of viewers of this channel, I think, don't really care all that much about 0 to 62 mile per hour times, 0 to 100 kilometer per hour times. They think, you know what? It's not that relevant to me. And you know what? I totally understand where you're coming. But the audience it's relevant to are the ones that we need to convert to the new world, to change. They're the ones that love those numbers and love those figures. And that's why the new Ford F-150 pretty much proves that gasoline-powered pickup trucks will die a very swift, very quick, very painful, agonizing death. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Great to have you. To the new subscribers and to those of you who don't know me all that well, well, I did have a soft spot for gasoline-powered vehicles. I read motor magazines my whole life. That's what I'd saved my money up for when I was a kid, when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, 13 years old. All those years, teenage years. They're the magazines I bought. I don't know why. My brother and I, we just loved to read about all the new V8-powered muscle machines here in Australia. We used to love to read about American ones, even about German ones as well that we could obviously never imagine affording. And then something changed. Gasoline-powered vehicles became boring. And Dodge said it themselves. What do they say? Dodge said, we've reached the limits of internal combustion engine capability. I mean, Gran Turismo, the world's greatest racing car simulator game, they've said it as well. These new cars we've got in this game, they're all fake because gasoline-powered cars can't do what we're saying these cars can do, right? We've reached the limits of gasoline-powered production. That's why companies like Mercedes bring out the most wacky contraptions. They just released one yesterday, the new Mercedes C63. It is bonkers mental. You've got to have rocks in your brain to buy the most complicated car ever made in the history of vehicles. 2 transmissions, right? 2 separate forms of power, the most highly stressed engine in the history of mankind, an electric turbocharger, a tiny battery that adds an extra 400 kilos of weight to the car. It's the most convoluted mess you can think of because Mercedes were like, well, we've reached the limit. What are we going to do? Let's make something incredibly complicated. It's not the solution, clearly. The solution is make it simple, right? Just put better batteries in an electric pickup truck. Now, Ford's first electric pickup truck, it's a decent effort. I mean, it's really a gasoline-powered vehicle. To be honest, it's been turned into an electric vehicle. And you've got to say, for a first go, it's pretty damn good. They're going to get it a lot better on the second go. Silverado, that's going to be better than the Ford F-150. It's a ground-up pickup truck made as an EV, a pure EV. The Cybertruck, that's going to be great. Rivian's car, that's going to be great. But imagine when we had the version 2, the version 3 of those pickup trucks. Because when you actually think about these specifications now, well, they make the Ford F-150 Raptor, right? They make that thing look like a slow dinosaur. Because it is. You know what? Ford market the Raptor, which I used to love until it became boring and slow. They market it as a performance truck. Is it really a performance truck? Not compared to the F-150 Lightning. Not at all. Not by a long shot. Sure, you can drive it in the desert sand over big bumps and fly a million miles an hour in the desert, but who on earth actually does that? That's just a marketing brochure. No one really does that in the real world, but do they drag race their buddies at the lights all the time? Hell yeah, they do. All the time. Do they brag about their 0 to 62 miles an hour times? Hell yeah, do they do. Do they brag about the torque of their cars? Hell yeah, they do. Do they brag about the horsepower? Hell yeah, they do. Do they brag about how much the vehicle can tow? Yes, they do. And all those numbers on an EV are already better, except for range. That's the last missing ingredient. And that, my friends, will come. But first, the Ford F-150 Lightning has received an acceleration boost. I'm seeing this all the time. Manufacturers are coming out like, okay, MG4. MG said, oh, this vehicle can do 0 to 62 miles an hour, 0 to 100 in 7.9 seconds. What happens? People test it on YouTube. It easily does 7 seconds without them even trying. Not even a drag strip, nothing. Just on some local street, wet road. Oh, 7 seconds. Wow, it's a second faster than they said. This is very common in the electric vehicle world. It's very common in the gasoline-powered world that manufacturers will say, our vehicle will do 3.7 seconds, 0 to 62 miles an hour, and then you take it to the drag strip, and it's virtually impossible to get it to do that. You have to put it in launch mode. You have to press 6 buttons. You have to hold the accelerator down for 17 seconds. You have to release the accelerator at a certain time. Then you've got to press the shift button. Then you've got to press the go baby go button to press the nitros. No, just kidding on that one. My point is, it's very hard to replicate the performance times from all manufacturers on gasoline cars. There's a couple that it's not, but for the most part, it's extremely difficult. However, with an EV, it is a piece of piss. Seriously. Ford's latest tweet from Jim Farley said the F-150 Lightning with an extended range battery can do 0 to 60 miles an hour in under 4 seconds. It's a pretty big vehicle. It's pretty damn heavy. But that, my friends, is scary fast in a vehicle that size. And it's a huge improvement from the previous times that the company quoted. I bet you there's going to be someone turning up to the work site, right? And they're going to say, you know what, boys? My pickup truck smokes the pants off yours. And there's nothing that any of them will be able to say. You cannot tune an F-150 pickup truck without spending $100,000 just on the engine and changing all the different parts that you need to change. You cannot tune a gasoline-powered car to do that. It's a massive undertaking. It just isn't practical and it isn't feasible. I've seen a couple on the drag strip do those kind of times. But that's like the kind of cars where you literally spend $100,000 just to do that. And those guys, honestly, they've got money to burn or they're just plain stupid. Now, I've got to say though, there is a bit of a problem here. The F-150 is sold out for the next couple of years. Electric, that is. So yeah, good luck getting your hands on one. Now, following Ford's announcement, Ford enlightened the public with performance specs and available features to be expected when the F-150 Lightning inevitably arrives. What's unique about Ford's announcements compared to other automakers is that instead of backtracking on certain performance provisions, Ford has come out multiple times and exceeded what was originally promised. I mean, they haven't just exceeded themselves on performance times, they've exceeded themselves on horsepower as well. And even on range. I mean, for example, the F-150 Lightning reached customers in May, and Ford was promising an estimated range of 300 miles with the extended battery pack. Well, customers got it. Turns out the EPA said the range was 320 miles. I think that's a good business practice from Ford. Under promise, over deliver. Now, Electric says that just before deliveries began, Ford emerged with more good news for its customers, revealing that the F-150 Lightning would arrive with more horsepower and higher payload capacity than originally promised. When does this happen with a gasoline-powered truck? I'll tell you when. Never. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I've been reading motor magazines every month, except for the last couple of years, my entire life. And I've been looking at these websites every day for the last decade. This doesn't happen. Unless you buy an EV. Then there's a good chance it can happen. I mean, Ford's not the only company doing this, are they? General Motors, they just did the same thing with the Silverado. They just changed the specs to be better than what they said they were before, right? Tesla, you get your car, pretty good chance the power, efficiency, charging speed will all increase during at some point in your ownership lifetime. Ford CEO Jim Farley announced the revised acceleration time via the tweet seen here, complete with a short clip of an F-150 Lightning zooming by. According to the CEO, 0 to 60 time is now under 4 seconds. That is a hell of a lot faster than a Ford F-150 Raptor. The current Ford F-150 Raptor V6 twin turbo super duper desert beast, it does 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds. That's a long way off 3.9. A long, long way off. In fact, that's an eternity. And honestly, this is a big difference. I mean, Ford originally announced that this truck would do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. They've gone from 4.5 to 3.9. You know, in the gasmobile world, that's the difference between a high-performance car and a supercar. I mean, literally, that's the kind of time the Ferrari supercars were doing only a few years ago. Now, Ford might have already been aware of the fact that the pickup truck could do this time. They wanted to kind of drag it out and get some marketing miles out of this. I don't know. I don't care. I think it's awesome because you know what? This is going to convert more of those gasmobile heads who hate change. It's going to convert them into electric truck lovers as well. And that means there'll be more people just like me. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Have a great day. Bye-bye.